For days, Bitcoin has been testing huge resistance. BTC now opening a new daily candle that could potentially trigger a huge bull move if Bitcoin does this one thing. Altcoins like Cardano waiting, getting ready, setting up for a potential bull move, one of the biggest bull moves in crypto history. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into the Bitcoin Cardano video. Let's start with Bitcoin. Throwing this out there, everybody. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a YouTuber. If you're looking for a financial advisor, seek one out for financial advice. Don't look for financial advice on YouTube. This is my opinion. This is data. I'm in the same boat as you, trying to figure all this stuff out, everybody. And I really am extremely kind of intrigued with the Bitcoin chart right now, because this has been years in the making potentially, and we have to be really careful. And I want to throw that out there. I should underline and highlight this entire video, though this could turn into something very bullish. Very careful, because we're at critical resistance on this chart. The resistance on the Bitcoin chart is the all-time high to the swing low in June to the Fibonacci resistance. Is it no surprise, if you've been watching this YouTube channel talk about Fibonacci all the time, is it no surprise at this 786 line, right in that $57,000 area, Bitcoin is just dancing. It's dancing with resistance. How often do we see it happen on the Fibonacci? Here it was dancing with the first bit of resistance at the 618, down here at $50,000 to $51,000. That was in September. So I want to talk about real quick in regards to Bitcoin, how this move has been setting up for years. And I want to chart the all-time high in 2013 to that bear market low in 2015. I want to chart a Fibonacci, a macro Fibonacci. Here's our bull market doors all the way back here, this green rectangle. Bitcoin entering into the bull market in 2017, cruising on through to the 1618 line of that macro Fibonacci, coming back down to touch the macro Fibonacci, continuing to the bull market. Check this out. And I know I've talked about this before, but this is years in the making. Bull market high of 2017 to bear market low. Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors. Let me get my brush. Breaking the bull market doors here through the 1618 back down to the 1618. The reason I want to bring this up and show this again is because I just want to mention, and we got the bounce. We got the support that we were looking for when we kind of dropped, right? We didn't just call the bear market right at that drop. We looked for 1618 support. We got it, similar to what happened in the middle of the last bull market. Now, this entire move, boom, boom, is really a lot like this entire move, boom, boom, 2017 to the 1618. But just like it's taken longer. It's been just a stretched out period of macro consolidation. But if it is true that Bitcoin is going to see this bounce right here on the 1618 continuation of the bull market, this means there could be a good amount of the bull market left for Bitcoin. The reason why we need to be careful, and this is years in the making, everybody, because it's years in the making because this is all new data that has finally transpired. It's finally presented itself to us, and we can chart it. We can talk about it. The 1618 bounce, the fact that we're at a crucial Fibonacci, which is the swing high, all-time high to that bounce back to Fibonacci resistance, that data point. The fact that the 20-week moving average just tipped up away from the 50-week moving average. That's something that didn't happen last time at the top, right? The swing high, bull market high. The 20-week moving average fell below the 50-day moving average. Even in 2013, the 20-week moving average fell below the 50-week moving average. So this data point, years in the making, it's all years in the making. But then we find out where we need to be careful. We need to be careful. This is it. The daily chart on Bitcoin, and all we can do, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, is just track it and wait. There's been no real confirmation right now. Bitcoin at the 786 line of the Fibonacci. Again, if you haven't seen, the Fibonacci is the all-time high that we had in April to that swing low in June, and it's right back up to this area. We're waiting for Bitcoin to break this area. We can talk about patterns all day long. We can talk about macro targets, zoomed in targets. But for me, this entire area right now where Bitcoin is trading at is so important. If we zoom in on the daily chart right here, you can actually notice Bitcoin, this green candle closed above that 786 line right here. Then it opened a daily candle and then we closed below in the Fibonacci. Then we opened another candle, slightly closing above it. And now we're in another candle. We're opened above it, but it's a red candle and we're right at the 786 line right now. So it's kind of like this next 24-hour period, again, really important for Bitcoin. What's going to happen on these Bitcoin charts? Bitcoin is really dictating, and it's going to dictate the move in general for crypto. And a lot of people are waiting for the continuation of this bull market. And I want to say, because I kind of briefly mentioned something similar in the beginning of the video, this could be like the most epic crypto bull move in history. It really could. If the data kind of presents itself and repeats itself in that we're getting a similar 1618 bounce on a macro to continue a bull market, if this is what's happening right now, this move really, really could take Bitcoin and crypto to new heights. And so that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin right now. It's literally there at the resistance area. Will it fail? We have to be very, very careful for failure, meaning we're coming back down within the Fibonacci. I mean, this 618 down here, all the way down in that $51,000 region. So be careful in that regard. Notice the 20-day moving average did cross above the 50-day right here. That's good. Maybe we get a move back down to the $51,000 area, kind of bring these moving averages up a little bit into that area, getting support, and then we're continuing up. This could be a November bullish move that we have to wait for. So that's Bitcoin. Pivoting over to Cardano. Cardano is primed and ready. If Bitcoin is going to do its thing, if Bitcoin's going to make a power move and continue to new all-time highs, Cardano, in my opinion, is so poised and ready. It's a top 3 crypto, but still has such a big gap of market cap within that top 3 Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano ecosystem, we can call it. So there's a ton of market share in regards to market cap to be given to Cardano. But besides that, we wait for Bitcoin to do its thing. Cardano as a technology, Cardano fundamentally, Cardano from all different regards is so primed, and not just from price, but just so primed in every key aspect to continue succeeding. So when we're looking at Cardano charts, we're waiting on Bitcoin, of course, to see what that kind of next macro move is, bull market, bear market stuff. But when we're looking at it, we start taking apart the data. And I'm just noticing some things. So when I'm looking at the weekly chart, and there's so much to kind of break down in the weekly, but when I was sitting here watching these charts, I was looking at this consolidation above the 20-week moving average. It's something we anticipated. Just pulled into the 20-week moving average after Alonzo hard fork. The same thing happened after Mary hard fork. Same thing happened after Shelly hard fork, getting pulled into the 20-week moving average. I always repeat myself, but it's probably worth just repeating. It's a part of the macro story. But the other thing I noticed was, if you're looking at this consolidation and look at that sideways on the weekly, it's just like, do something. And I see the frustration in the comments. But there was a similar consolidation back here, and this was all the way back in like November 2020, December 2020, almost a year ago. Cardano consolidating above the 20-week moving average, kind of sideways in some regard. At the time was in like the 10 to 20 cent range. And by the way, it was kind of already in that range prior in August of 2020. And now we're in a similar area. Cardano consolidating right above that 20-week moving average for a month now. We were already at this area in the $2 range. We were at this area, right, back in like May. And if you look at the macro chart, it's a very, very similar move. Even the RSI, very similar in terms of like where it is on the chart, which is a good thing. Because on the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator, Cardano has a lot of room for upside. Remember, from this move back here, there was a lot of room for upside, ultimately going from 15 cent range to what? $3 range. So in terms of just the upside potential for Cardano, it's set, it's ready, it's there. But Bitcoin, we really have to keep an eye on. We really do at this point of the game. We're not at the beginning of a bull market where it's kind of a little bit more, there's a little bit more freedom, I would say, for altcoins to kind of just do something crazy out of nowhere. I think right now Bitcoin's kind of dictating a lot of sentiment right now across crypto markets. That's not to say that Cardano won't move or can't without Bitcoin, but I think it's a wiser move to really, really keenly watch the daily chart and this resistance area on Bitcoin right now. Going over to the daily chart on Cardano, these are, just putting aside Bitcoin, some of the technical areas we want to continue watching. I've already talked about it in the last video. This 20-day moving average is probably the biggest concern right now for Cardano. And Cardano is like right there right now. It's like $2.19 at the 20-day moving average, that green line. If you remember, we talked about there's a similar area where Cardano was just kind of trading within the 20-day and the 50-day after getting the 20-day moving average cross below the 50-day moving average cross. And we've seen a recent similar move. I saw a comment, I think, on that video. Somebody was just saying that moving averages don't work. There's no purpose in using them. And to me, that's just not right. Like, to me, I've used moving averages for years. In particular, especially that 50-day moving average, I've used for years on this YouTube channel. It is such a helpful illustration of the battle of the bulls and the bears. In the simplest of terms, if we're walking through these crypto charts and we're trying to navigate, and it's getting a little messy, it's getting a little confusing, we're trying to figure out what's the next move. If there's something on these charts that's going to be like kind of take our hand and guide us a little bit, it's the moving averages. It gives us an idea of the strength of the bulls or the strength of the bears. And so we really want to see Cardano diverge away from this entire move, which was failure at the 20-day moving average after kind of bouncing off the 50-day moving average. And we're in a really similar area. 50-day moving average right here, it didn't break through that. And now we're testing the 20. Is it going to fail? And are we going to be pulled down even into the 200-day moving average? Remember, we have a target down into this area. Digging into the charts, because I know we've talked about that before, here's where we are on the 6 hour. And besides tracking it, it's all I can do with you all. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's going to happen because I'm literally in your boat. I'm watching. I'm wondering the same thing. There are signs on the chart that say, wow, Cardano could explode at this point. And a big piece of that explosion is the trigger on the Bitcoin chart, which is Bitcoin getting separation from the 786 line. For me, it's a big deal right now. So if we can see Bitcoin get separation and just a move to the upside, Cardano is so primed, because if we're looking at this descending triangle, there has been no separation from the triangle. There's been no kind of like crazy just move out of the triangle, which is very commonplace. It's kind of just been a break above the triangle and then just trickling down. What's good though is we're at this upper trend line and we've kind of just been trending up and above the upper trend line. Now, digging deeper into what's happening here, there's shorter term consolidation that we talked about. So we know the target to the upside out of this triangle that we see here, I think is like the $2.90 to $3 range breakout target to the upside. I think it's like $1.40 to the downside. We know the possibilities. They're there. If crypto crashes, we know where Cardano can go. Just be prepared for it. But beyond that, if we're looking into these charts, we see Cardano also has a smaller kind of symmetrical triangle that we've been tracking. And really, it's just lower highs and right now higher lows. And you can even just see this previous swing low right here is kind of on this midterm chart right here, short-term chart. It's a higher low. This was a previous higher low, but still, we haven't broken below this low. This is the story for Cardano. It's all about consolidation right now, and it's being squeezed. There's going to be a move. And what I mean by that is if we look at even this swing high back in September to that swing low right there, Cardano bouncing off of, well, what do you know? What a surprise. A Fibonacci resistance back down, right? So from that Fibonacci resistance right here to that swing low, Cardano, what a surprise. Coming back up, bouncing off of Fibonacci resistance right here, green channel. And I should note, even if you look at the swing low to that swing high, look at Cardano bouncing off of Fibonacci support. So you see the ping pong. You see the ping pong thing happening. This always happens within these Fibonacci's. That's why I talk about Fibonacci all the time, because what we're waiting for is a confirmation, a bullish or bearish confirmation, which would be from this previous swing high to this previous swing low. We'd look for Cardano to make a break through this new Fibonacci resistance. And notice how they're getting smaller. So this Fibonacci resistance around 230 down to 225. So let's see. I mean, Cardano is so close to a move like that. If we're looking at price range wise from where Cardano is, it's only around 4% move to the 618, and it's only around a 6% move to the 786 to test that area. What will happen? Will Cardano just kind of come up, fail, and we're putting in another Fibonacci swing low, a lower high? I'm sorry, not a swing low, a lower high. So we're failing here, lower high, and then we're like still consolidating all in the apex of really what is a symmetrical triangle here. That's what I'm waiting for. And it's just like, I debated doing a video tonight. I kind of wanted to wait for something more significant to happen on Bitcoin and Cardano, but I figured it's best to put the data out there so that we can just continue tracking it, because this is what I'm watching for. To the downside, it is what it is, everybody. We have this upper trend line, remember, of this longer term descending triangle. So I'm just going to continue tracking to the downside the entire apex of the triangle. It's 100% in play anytime we get a breakout of an upper trend line for that thing, Bitcoin, Cardano, whatever, to kind of just test the apex. We want to see what might happen. A third touch to the lower trend line, $2 area, it could just happen so quick. It could happen in minutes. You all know that. So that's to the downside what I'd be watching for. But again, to the upside, an explosive move for Cardano would start with confirmation move of 225 to 230 area. That's the newest lower high Fibonacci resistance that I would look for Cardano to break. So this was a long video. I did not anticipate doing such a long video. I hope you got some value out of it. Everybody, I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.